Hello, welcome. Welcome to this week's live stream. Everything that can go wrong on my end has so far. So let's see. Can you all hear me? I see Petsotics in the chat. Hello. I see Scotty the Fish Freak. Hello, Scotty the Fish Freak. And I see Select Pet waving. Can you all hear me? All right, good audio vibes. It's taking a moment for StreamYard to catch up for some reason. All of a sudden, I see a bunch of comments. That's okay. We're going to work with it. We're going to roll with it. There's a storm rolling through my area. It's been pretty bad in just the last 30 minutes as I was getting ready. And yeah, but that's okay. We're gonna get this thing started. I do have Tanner joining me. But he's not made it just yet. And I was so busy trying to make sure everything was working that I did not get a chance to check in with him and make sure he was all right. All right, I just did that. And I think he has the invite, but I'm going to send it to him one more time just in case, because this is what live streaming is all about. All right, let's see. Who else we have? Red Laser's in the chat. Hello, Red Laser. I see the Zen Ginger. Kane Fritz Wallace is here, and I need to go do a little bit of work here. If I can figure out, it's been a few weeks since I've done this. And all right, there we go. The Zen Ginger is now a moderator. Oh, Tanner's there. Let me add him to the stream. And let's do this. I cannot hear you. All right, 1 minute, 2 minutes, however many it takes. We'll get there. All right. So I want to take just a moment and say thank you to the Zen Ginger. You know, as we've been doing these live streams, I've wondered about moderators. And so I asked earlier today, what's the etiquette for asking for mods? And the Zen Ginger said, you know what? I got you. I enjoy your stream. I'll be there. So that was cool. So thank you very much for offering to help out. Or not offering. I guess I asked you, but for agreeing to help out. I'm gonna pull up my notes. I don't have the tank up on the screen this time. I just kind of did that. That was something that I did last minute in order to have. Oh, I hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Awesome.
Perfect. I got a new mic. I think I texted you, or not a new mic, a new camera, and
Yeah.
looks like the mic doesn't work on it, but that's fine.
Oh no, we'll have to figure that out. It takes some troubleshooting. My setup this week is nothing like my setup last week, and I loved my setup last week. So I moved over here to this end of the house, hoping I could get away from some of the weather and it not be as loud. I think it's rolled through. I don't think we'll have any more thunder. It was thunder and lightning. I had to run outside and close the umbrella, and there was like lightning strikes all over. And it's been a few years since I've been hit by lightning, but it's not fun. Oh, the Zen Ginger says, I offer to. It's all good either way. You okay? Well, yeah, the way the conversation went, I guess that's true. I guess I asked you about mods and you said you would love to do it. So you did offer. Absolutely. My brain's not that good come 8:30. Oh, was that your power going out? Flickering?
No, I have the light turned on.
All right.
Trying to get a little bit better lighting. How's everybody doing tonight?
Let's see. I'm just seeing if I missed. I did. Mark Sturleson is here. Stubbs Aquatics dropping in, wanted to show support and a thumbs up. Thanks, Stubbs. Have you seen? I know I'm putting you on the spot. You probably haven't. But have you seen Stubbs' latest video? It's just like 30 minutes of chilling out next to his pond.
No, I haven't. That sounds incredible. I'm gonna have to watch that. That sounds great.
It is. It is. I saved it on a private playlist so that I could watch it anytime I wanted to. And he was like, you know what? When you've got some anxiety or you just stressed to your max, enjoy what I enjoy.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I've been traveling for the past 5 days, so I haven't gotten to watch any videos, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to watch a few. I've been working kind of hard on the channel here recently, and then of course we had the holidays too. Select Pet, that's John, says Zen is a master mod. I don't have to work hard at all now. That's right.
I
You do get a little bit of a break.
I have caught your latest video though, Mitch, on the bottle trap.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the latest one, but I have caught that one. I like using those. They are very handy.
Jimmy P's Aquarium says I'm over here, Mitch. Hey, Jimmy P's. Dee Dee's Fin Den is here, and let's see. I've got. Let's see. It's scrolling on me too fast. All of y'all coming in here quick. I love it. We've got. Oh man, I'm gonna mess this up because I never know how to say this. I know what it is, but for some reason it won't come off the tongue. Lady Rorschach. That's not it. That's not how you say it. I
I
know what
think
it
it's
is.
Rorschach or Rorschach.
Rorschach.
I don't know how to say it though either.
Okay. Well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah,
Sorry that
welcome.
if we butchered your name. So, but yeah, that video that was kind of funny. So here's a little story, real quick. It was story time with Mitch. Last week, I think it was last week, I caught um, Jimmy P's aquariums. I caught his live stream, and he was talking about a few things, and he was talking about live streams and videos and this and that, and he was talking about how he really enjoys some of those videos that are just like they're just done. They're not overly produced. They're not overly produced, but there's not a lot of production. They're just it's a good video on content and it's out there and he enjoys those. And I was like, you know what? I think I would enjoy doing that because I'm putting too much emphasis on the editing of these things and it's taking me forever to get a video out just because I want it to be perfect. I want it to look polished. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a 30-day challenge where I'm going to put out a video every day for 30 days. And I'm counting this. This live stream counts as today's. But on Sunday, I put out a video with the pond, and it was just a one take. I might have edited out some of the very beginning of it, and then which was just like a tour of the micro pond. And then on Monday, kind of busy with everything. I was like, oh, I gotta get a video. And someone in the East Tennessee Aquatic Association's Facebook group uh, had a post about trying to catch some swordtails, and I mentioned the bottle trap, and someone said, well, is there a video for this? Can someone show me this? Because this sounds interesting. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video. So I grabbed everything and set up real quick, and I made a video and I put it out in like, I don't know, less than an hour. And that was that video. So there's story time with Mitch.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea to do. Um, and then that kind of leads into, let's see, the Zen Ginger asks, do I have a channel? I don't see anything, see it by searching TK Aquascaping or maybe other social media. So I don't have a channel at the moment. I'm working on that. I
We've
have
talked about it a few times.
You can yeah, we've talked about it on previous streams. I have an Instagram by the same handle, TK Aquascaping. I don't post on there often, but I am wanting to start up a channel. And what my plan is right now, I'm actually making videos right now. They're starting to. I'm going to backlog quite a bit because I quite honestly get busy and I don't want to post as sporadically as I know I will post. So I'm going to do a backlog and then start posting then.
Yeah, see, I did it wrong. I had a friend who has a fairly popular YouTube channel in a totally different genre. And he was like, all right, he was excited that I was doing it because I've done podcasts and stuff for years. And he was excited that I was doing YouTube. And he was like, oh, what you need to do is you need to have 3 videos put back and then release them one at a time in succession. And that way you can kind of get ahead of things. And so I went home that night and released my first video because we worked together. And so we were talking about it at work. I was like, yeah, I already released my first one. And he was like, you just couldn't wait. I was like, I just could not wait. So yeah, it's addictive. It's a lot of fun. I saw Jimmy P says, I haven't taken my own advice. I need to make more content. I'd love to see some more content. Looking forward
Yeah.
to it.
Oh, and
I have lost track of the chat, so I'm gonna let you. You're gonna say something while I look, right?
I have, yeah. I think I'm skipping around in the chat, but the Zen Ginger has they have followed me on Instagram, so I appreciate that, and they've also linked my Instagram in the chat. So thanks, I appreciate that. I just post pictures of my tanks pretty much, but I
Awesome.
appreciate that.
And they are nice. It's a nice account. I like to watch it. Let's see. Stephen P. 2003. I never can say that either. I'm horrible at this. Aquatics. That's what it is. It's awkward. Aquatics. Aquatics. So Stephen P is here. I always call him Stephen P. I don't ever try to say that. I did it just one time on the live stream to embarrass myself. Patty's Petite Tanks is here. Says, what a fraud for someone named Scruffy. He's awfully cleaned up. So I'll do that real quick. I am usually fairly cleaned up. This is about as scruffy as my wife likes for me to get. Although I did have a lot longer hair earlier this year than I do right now. The Scruffy City is actually in reference to the city that I live in. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, and Knoxville has the nickname the Scruffy City because the 1982 World's Fair, when it was announced that Knoxville was going to be hosting it, the Wall Street Journal did an article about how this scruffy city in the South would never draw a crowd, and Knoxville embraced that. And so as a city, I've grown up hearing about that story, and I've always liked Scruffy City. And so when I did the channel, I decided to go with Scruffy City. So I am not a fraud. I'm from the Scruffy City, but you're right. I'm not that scruffy.
I actually didn't know why it was called the Scruffy City, so that's
Yeah,
pretty
well,
cool.
I was born in '82 and the '82 World's Fair. So
Uh,
my understanding is I was there before I was born. But we still have, if you've ever seen that episode of The Simpsons, we still have the Sun Sphere, and the concert area from the World's Fair is still downtown at the World's Fair Park. And so you can go see it. I think it costs $5 to go up into the Sun Sphere now, but you can go up, and I don't remember how many stories it is, but it's tall, and you can get a 360-degree view of the city and of the mountains and the valley. So it's a wonderful place. If you're ever in Knoxville, go downtown and go to Sun Sphere. It's worth $5.
I didn't know they started charging for it. I went up there as a kid, and it was it was really cool.
Yeah, that I think the charging is recent. I just heard that recently. I don't want to miss anybody. Verily,
Yeah.
Casey's here. Just escaped another shrimp tank that's just cycled. That's fun. Oh, I
Awesome.
wish I had another tank to work on.
Shrimp
I'll
tanks
just
are
have to tear.
got to be my favorite tanks as far as just an easy
Yeah.
setup. They're shrimp are I love keeping shrimp.
Is that too small? You're off to the side. I'm trying to get you in the shot. We'll try that.
Yeah,
Let's see. Red Laser. I think I said hi to
microphone.
Red Laser, but if I didn't, hi Red Laser. All right, let's see. Was I born at the fair? Oh, I can put these up. I forgot about this. I was not born at the fair, but I attended the fair while still in my mother's womb. Mark says, now I feel old again. My youngest was born in '82. That's okay, Mark. I'm an old soul. I always have been. At the same time, I'm a young soul. I guess I'm right. I'm the right age. John says, that's not what I hit. John says, or if you're like me and get lost in Knoxville and wind, yeah, you ended up there. And what was funny was when John came to Aquaticon, he messed up. He went to the, I don't remember what it's called. You went to the convention center that's downtown, and he messaged me later. I'd messaged him, and he was like, yeah, I'm at the Sun Sphere. I'm at the wrong place. And so when I saw it and I messaged him back, I was like, hey, I'm working on a video. Can you get me some footage of the Sun Sphere while you're down there? He was like, I already left. So Kane says, haha, I feel young. I was born in '93. He likes to rub that in.
Yeah, well, I'm 98 here.
There we
And
go.
that's what yeah, Stubbs Aquatics says I graduated high school in '82.
Yep.
Did you go to
And,
the
and
World's Fair?
John was correct. I bet Tanner would make me feel old too. I went to the convention center, not the expo center, like I was supposed to. That's right. That's where it was. You went to the convention center, and we were at the expo center. That's correct.
I've
All
definitely
right.
done that before too. It's easy to mix them up if you're not paying attention.
Yes. Yes. Oh, looky there. We're off to the side. Just playing around, just seeing how this thing works. All right, so here's what we're going to do. So you saw the topic 23 in the chat. That's awesome. Thank you all so much for coming out. It's our biggest night so far. That's great. Last one was our biggest night so far. So glad to have you all here. Thank you for joining us. This is a new thing for us. We're still kind of learning how to do this. We're excited to be here, and we've got a conversation that we're going to start. And so the way we're going to do this week is we're going to start the conversation. I'm going to share, Tanner's going to share our favorite aquarium hobby equipment. Is that how we put it? Favorite hobby equipment for our
Yes.
aquarium, something like that. You know what? I've got a slide for that. Let's just put that up there. There you go. Look, favorite aquarium hobby equipment. That's kind of a mouthful. That I should have said that out loud before I put it on a thumbnail, but I did it. It's there. We're going to roll with it. And so that I just grabbed a pic of some of my stuff that I was using at the time and some that I wasn't. Oh, there we go. JT, what's up?
Hey,
What's
JT.
up? I'm old enough for that. I'm old enough for what's up. Do you know what's up?
I do know what's up.
Okay, I figured it was around long enough. New local Austin's here, 23. That's me. Patty says Zen made us come. She said you were giving us each $100. That's happening, correct? I guess you were correct when you said I was a fraud. I don't have $100 to give each of you. So, lurkers, please remember to like. Thank you, Zen Ginger. Thank you very much. And the number plummets now that I'm not giving $100 away.
Go down to 1.
Go down to 1. Looks like the ETAA meeting. That's correct. Yeah, we've typically have about 30 there. So
Yeah.
always a fun time. We've got a meeting this week, hoping I can stay well for this one because I missed the last one. I always hate missing them. I have to, though, in all honesty. My tank is full of duckweed and Amazon frogbit that I've been saving because people keep asking for it. And I missed last month. So it's got an extra month's worth of growth. And my crypts are starting to melt. I got to get that stuff out of there.
Oh man, well, and also on that note, I'm going to be bringing quite a bit of plants. Sean Peck is going to be Sean Peck and I are going to be doing a kind of a co-presentation, and it's going to be great. He's doing aquascaping, and I'm doing planting and kind of a general talk about planted aquariums. So it's going to be an exciting meeting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great meeting. People are excited. Sean's always fun. You're always fun. I'm looking forward to seeing you up there. I don't know if I'll ever come up with a topic that I can get up there and actually talk about. The one time they've let me get up and talk, it was about myself. I was like, that just feels wrong. But one thing that I meant to say and I did not say, I already see some discussion of favorite equipment. If you don't mind in the chat, hold your favorite equipment until once we go through ours, because then we're going to talk about yours. Okay. We want to talk about the chat's favorite equipment as well. I see one that's already the glass box. That's number one. Zen's talking about how Patty's lying. Let's see. Zen, that's not nice. Oh, I see Liquid Zoo. Matt is here. Says Zen will cover the cash. We've got Audra Meyer. Hello, all. Going to be lurking while making dinner. All right. Dinner sounds good. I skipped out on dinner for some reason. Too much to do. I might have to do that. We've got the giveaway will be at the Knoxville Club meeting on Saturday. So we've got a link here to the Facebook group for the ETAA. Thank you, John. And let's see. John says he'll be there on Saturday. We will be there on Saturday. And Scruffy City Aquatics is, if our favorite equipment is heavy, do we have to hold it up? Do we have to hold it long? No, you don't have to hold it up. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this because we're almost done. An hour goes way too quick. Way too
quick. It really does.
It does. All right. Let's see if we can. Oh, look, we're down here. That works. All right. So I thought long and I thought hard about this. What is my favorite piece of equipment? And really, I mean, other than the aquarium, I agree. The actual glass box should probably be one. But other than that one, I'm going to have to say that my favorite is my Rubbermaid Brute trash can. It's a 32-gallon trash can. It is on wheels, and it changed my hobby. Uh, this was a birthday gift, if I'm not mistaken, or a Father's Day gift. I was asked, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I want a trash can." So I used to do buckets. I used to change my water with buckets. I was using multiple 5-gallon buckets. I have a 75-gallon tank, so it was a lot of work. And I thought if I could just have this trash can. Now, I know a lot of people use the Python. I already see that. Zen's on it. Python.
I've
I
got
know a
the
lot of people use the
Python
Python.
right here. I'm doing a water change right now.
I have pieced together a Python. I didn't buy one. I for some reason I went the long way and pieced it together because I like to use the water. We moved to this house 3 years ago, and we planted all the landscaping. There were no bushes or trees or anything. Well, I guess there was a tree, but there was no landscaping in the front yard, um, and so we planted everything, and we went the cheap route and bought everything young. So I need that stuff to grow, and I've been watering it with fish water, and so in order to do that, I have to get the water out to the front yard, and I know I could pump it with a long hose, but I've got to get down to the end of the driveway too. So I would end up having to use something to get down there anyway. So what I do is I put the trash can outside the door and I run my pump. I've got a pump as well. I guess that should technically be in here with the trash can, but the trash can on its own is very useful. So I pump the water out the door, so I don't have to get it down the steps or anything. It's out there on the ground. I'm able to wheel it around, sling water all over the neighborhood, and water my plants. The other thing I use it for is cleaning my canister filter. My wife doesn't like for me to do it in the sink, so this comes in very handy. And I'll use it to pretty much clean everything with my aquarium. Again, the wheels were a necessary purchase because 32 gallons of water is hard to carry. Without the wheels, it would not happen. Um, yeah, so that's my one. That's that is my favorite. I keep doing that one, and I can't see you. There we go.
Oh,
That's
I
my
can scoot
favorite.
over. I was just trying to show the
You're trying to
tank a
get the
little
tank.
bit.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm the one that keeps hitting the wrong thing. All right, so I've taken up enough time with that. The trash can is awesome. If you do buckets, even if you have a Python, I still have a Python. I do during the winter. I ended up piecing together the Python because during the winter, I'm not going out there and watering plants when it's below 30 degrees or even anywhere near 30 degrees. So I do put it down the sink, the drain when it's cold. So I use the Python for that. I'm checking the chat. And we are talking
Yeah.
about pythons. Everybody's on board with
Yeah.
pythons. And I see that Kane has a couple of pythons. That's right. Kane. Oh, that's
Yep.
right. John, if you want to put that, Kane just started his YouTube channel. It's Keeper Kane, right? Yeah, it's Keeper Kane. And he's got his first video out. He has so many tanks and so many reptiles. I'm so jealous of the amount of content he could create with everything that he has. So that will be a fun channel to follow. Kane is the president of the ETAA. He's a fellow board member and founder of the club. So go check that out and support that. He's a great guy. I've gotten to know him over the last few months, and I am thankful that I have. The Zen Ginger says, Tanner, watch out. Live streams will distract you. And next thing you know, you hear water pouring over the side of your tank onto your floor.
Yeah, if you notice, I keep looking back. The water's barely coming out, but I've overflowed quite a few tanks in the past.
Yeah. I've only done it before we moved, and that was carpet. And I really wish that I had caught that. And let's see, I saw Kane is also commenting on doing those water changes midstream. Risky. Python utility sinks. All right, got a question. Scotty the Fish Freak says, how do those wheels do on carpet? So I have a floating floor, so I don't have carpet. I do have multiple rugs that are in my way, and those wheels go over those rugs with a little bit of effort. Now, when it's full, if I put the full 32 gallons, which is like a 50% water change for me, if I fill that thing up, it is tough. And I tell you, I used to go out the garage, and the threshold to go out the garage was very difficult to get 32 gallons over, and it's just a got to pick it up each wheel and get over that. That was more of a hassle than anything. That's why I started filling it up outside of the house with the pump, which was cheap. I got the pump cheap, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the pump. But yes, it will go over carpet. If you have really thick carpet, I'm trying to think, the worst that I've ever had to pull it through is probably more like a small carpet. I don't have anything very thick. I have the same garbage can on wheels set up. It's awesome. It is awesome. I love it. And let's see. Kane first video. There's the link. Good. Check that out.
Awesome.
And we got the channel. Zen Ginger's on it too. And you're welcome, Kane. All right. Are you ready for me to pull up your slide, Tanner?
Yes. I'm ready. So I did more of a generic piece of equipment, and I just chose generally filtration. Right here is just a little, basically a 5-gallon tank, but for this, sort of category of the filtration, I want to talk about sponge filters and how they're just the easiest and honestly the lowest maintenance filters you can have. Now, granted, I keep all of my tanks fairly planted. This is just a mass of moss, guppy grass, and I think pearlweed. But I'm just using it to grow out some cory fry. But the sponge filter, it's great for smaller fish, shrimp. I keep a lot of smaller species, so I'm always kind of worried about them getting sucked into the filter intake. And I don't like cleaning the smaller sponges quite as often, but it just provides good aeration and it helps. I've seen some of the clearest water on tanks that are heavily planted and just have a sponge filter on them. And it keeps it's good for gentle flow. Like you have a betta or, like shrimp. Some shrimp don't like a ton of flow, other fish like that like more still waters. I like the baddest that I keep. A sponge filter is probably the only filter I'd run with them, just because it's really safe for them. Mitch, do you have the picture of the sump on there?
I do. I was going to add just real quick before we go to it. Casper Aquatics, good evening, everyone. New subscriber to the channel.
Yeah.
Thank you, Casper
Awesome.
Aquatics. Yeah, I saw that earlier today, and I followed your channel as well. Mark says just stubbed, just subbed. I was going to say your last name, and then I was like, I'm going to save time by just reading his comment, and now I'm thinking, oh, I've wasted more time. Anyway, thank you both. And let's see, I'm pulling this up for you. There we go. Oh, I was going to say, I can't not. Sponge filters all the way. I love sponge filters.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. I ran hang on the backs for a long time. Sponge filters. When I first put sponge filters in the 75 gallon, I wasn't totally happy with how clean it was getting the water. Of course, I was using coarse sponges from Aquarium Co-op. And so I added a cheap canister filter just for polishing pad or for what's it called? Floss. Just for floss to pull out the particulate. But I don't even run that anymore. It's all sponges. I just needed to get the initial whatever out of the tank. But sorry, I just wanted to add that.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. I use them. I think they're another great way to seed new tanks too, because they really store a lot of just surface area and really beneficial bacteria for new tanks. But so moving on to go ahead. Sorry, Mitch.
I was just gonna say that's how I started the micro pond. I pulled a medium sponge filter out of the tank. I stuck it in there, and I was cycled. Everything was ready to go. I had fish in it in a couple days. Of course, I also pulled a bunch of plants.
Yeah, they're perfect though too, because for a smaller tank, an air pump you can get for $8, $10. So I mean, it's a really inexpensive but effective way to filter your tank. Let's
Absolutely.
see. Kane says, "Welcome, Casper. Glad to have you here." Yes, we are glad to have you here. um, but moving on, this is more of a, I would guess, higher, more complex filtration, just because it's harder to put together. It's a freshwater sump, and it's actually running the tank that is, well, let's see if I can move this camera and get a somewhat closer. But the tank behind me, and it's a 40-gallon, but I'm running a 30-gallon sump on it. And that's the reason I really like a sump, is because it adds a ton of water volume to your tank. It's not in the tank. It's basically a separate tank that is all just filter media. You can see in that picture, I'm growing plants down in it. I put a little light. It pulls out extra nutrients, and all of it's not in the tank at all. There's barely, the only equipment in the tank is the overflow box and the filter outlet. And it's basically just looks like a canister filter outlet. But they just provide a huge volume. So if you want to keep fish, more smaller fish in a smaller, kind of heavily scaped tank, so where they still have some swim room, but not as much as, or they have adequate swim room, but not enough probably biological volume in the tank itself. You can add that extra volume, put a ton of filtration in there. In the center of the screen is where I have the plants growing, and then to the right is basically all just coarse filter pad, and the return pump is in the far right, the third chamber, and that's where I also run CO2, so I can keep the CO2 diffuser out of the tank, because I just don't like seeing a ton of equipment in my tanks. So they're definitely, it's a more expensive route. You have to drill a tank or buy a drilled tank. I drilled this one myself. There's tons of videos on it, but it's definitely a really good way to filter your tank.
Yeah, I've always been intimidated by them. Not that I don't not to say not that I needed one, because the 75, if I were to put a 20-gallon underneath it, that would be a pretty good sump for it, a lot bigger than the canister filter that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've always wondered, and I've had it explained to me, but maybe someone in the chat has never heard and has wondered, how do you keep it from overflowing? Like, what is I think there's more than one process, but what do you have to keep this one from overflowing?
Yeah, so that was something I actually was very scared about to begin with, because I was like, how do the tank will drain, it'll all go on the floor. And you basically, in the third chamber with the return pump, the water level stays lower, and you can't really see it, but I have a piece of clear tape on the sump to mark the water level in there, so
Okay.
that basically the return pump cuts off, and then water will continue to drain, over the weir of the outflow box down into the sump. But once it gets below that weir, there's not going to be any more water. So you just basically keep it low enough to allow for the extra water from the tank coming back down.
Okay.
And then, but a huge thing that is important to do is make sure your the outlet, on the return pump, is high enough to where it won't keep siphoning water out. Because I did mess up and do that at first. Luckily, I was watching it. It was when I was testing. It's kind of like a trial and error to make sure find that sweet spot and mark the line to keep it from overflowing. But I had the outlet too low, and it just kept siphoning water, and it siphoned like a good 4 inches out of the tank, and that was going to make it overflow.
Yeah. Okay. It's intimidating. I can see me messing it up and coming home to 75 plus gallons of water. It's but I hear they work. I hear they work well. Those who use them love them.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely a lot more difficult, but I really enjoy it. It just makes it a whole lot more stable of a
yeah.
tank.
Well, yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I mean, you're putting like 50%. You could put 50% of the. I mean, you could even put more. You could have a larger sump,
yeah.
but it's unlimited. And then, like you said, you can put some plants down there and a light. You can. I've heard of people putting shrimp,
Hmm.
even quarantining. Like not quarantining, but if you've got a fish that's being bullied, you can pull it out
Hmm.
and put it down in a sump and keep it in there. It's still in the same water, but it's not being chased or picked on. So
That's
lots, and you're growing out plants
mhm.
for the club meeting.
Yeah, some of these in that picture will be at the club this weekend. And on your point of separating fish into the sump, I actually have my crebensis. I think I told you, Mitch. I came home and they had fry,
Yeah,
and I was so excited. And the only problem was I had another male crebensis. I had two males in there, so he was just getting really beat up. Like
yeah,
he was hiding in the corner, so I was like, caught him with the net, put him down in the sump, and he's swimming in and out of the plants, doing great. So
awesome.
there, any a fish that's not sick, I wouldn't put a fish that use it as quarantine because your whole it's in the water. But as
Yeah,
far as you buy some fish and they're small, or you don't buy some fish, but you find they're too small in the tank, let them grow out down there. I have fry in the bottom of the sump. Um, it just works out really well.
yeah. Speaking of fry, I got more Cory fry this week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, so I have more Cory eggs. I don't have fry yet eggs.
Ah, nice.
John says coming soon to Scruffy City Aquatics merch, shirts that say "Get the whatever out of the tank." That's a Tannerism.
Get the whatever out of the tank. I like that.
It, yeah, that'll be a good one. We'll have to design that. I've tried to come up with some ideas
Yeah.
because I like having my own merch. I like having my own shirts. I've done it for other things, and it's always fun to have something original that's just kind of representing part of your character and the the channel. So that'll be
Hmm.
fun. I'm working on some ideas. That might be one I'll work with Tanner on.
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be
So
that'd
we've
be
got
that'd be really cool to see. We could come up with some pretty funny stuff.
Yeah. So we've got some people celebrating the new subscribers. So thank you all. And oh, I clicked on the wrong
Hmm.
one, but Audra says hi, Dee Dee. And I hope I'm saying that right. I'm horrible with names. And let's see, Zen Ginger. So this is the one I was looking for. So wait, are those old rock wool plastic basket plant containers acting as biomedia? Yes. I mean, that's probably not what they're intended for, but they are.
They will act as biomedia. So I'm actually potting up some more plants to bring to the club and some other places. And the rock wool that when you buy it, it's dry. So I like to go ahead and form it in the pot and then let them soak. But they also it's great too because rock wool is really good at storing nutrients.
Yeah.
So it'll bind some of those nutrients, and then you're basically fertilizing the plants you're putting in those pots, and it's also pulling some extra nutrients out of the tank.
Yeah. JT says ATOs are very beneficial with sumps, mainly used in saltwater.
Hmm.
Saltwater. No, I'm just kidding. I know, I'm just kidding. I, you know, one of these days, maybe. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say no. But yeah, I've heard of a lot of people using them for saltwater. Do you have
I've
any
been
saltwater
meaning to.
tanks?
I don't, but I've been meaning
Okay.
to build a auto top off for this tank. I just haven't got around to it yet because it takes about, the nice thing, and that one thing I forgot about the sumps is the water level in the tank itself doesn't change. It drops in the sump, so
Yeah.
the display tank is always kept at a nice constant water level.
That I like. That I
So
like
that's
for
that's
sure.
one thing that you don't get the water drop in. You're like, oh crap, I need to top it off. You just look down at the sump.
Yeah. And because we can't not talk about the club, I have to say, talking about saltwater, we do have a saltwater presentation coming up before the end of the year. I don't remember off the top of my head when it is, but if you're in the area, or even if you're not, because we have a YouTube channel, you can check out the East Tennessee Aquatic Association's YouTube channel and see all of our presentations that have taken place. But we are going to have I believe, I can't hold me to this, but I believe the topic is a beginner saltwater. setup. And that was because we have people who already have freshwater who are considering saltwater. And then, of course, we have some people who also have saltwater. But I believe that's been scheduled. I just don't remember when. But check out the club. It'll be there. John says it's a balancing act. When you get it worked out, they're nice. And then we have ABC Aquatic Biotope Creations. What's up, Fish Fam? What's up? John, doing water changes is nice when using a sump. Yeah, and that's one of the things, like the FX series of canister filters also do this, where it's an easy way to get the water out of the tank when you're doing a water change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can just open up that little valve.
Yep. Razor Reef says the saltwater one is in September. I have a feeling there's a reason why you know. So the saltwater one is September. That's when it's scheduled.
Awesome.
So
I
if
hope to
you're
be
in
able to
the
make
area,
that one.
plan on being in the area. What was that, Tanner?
I hope to make that one. I've been wanting to start a saltwater tank eventually.
Yes.
It seems fun. I want to do a small one, and I know they're a little more difficult, so I've kind of held off on it. But
yes, I've definitely heard that, and I've heard that. I've heard that from people who are considering it, and most people who do it, I feel like they're like, yeah, but it's not that bad.
yeah.
So I'll be interested in that talk for sure. Even though it's not something that I do, I'm really happy that we're going to do it because we've had a lot of people ask about saltwater, and we have people on the Facebook group who will post about saltwater, and it's like, man, I don't really have anything to add to that, but I hate not to comment. So, but it'd be cool to get some information on it. Looks like Pogostemon, is that Health Fairy, is doing well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Red
that
Laser.
yeah, thank you. I got 2 tissue cultures of that, and I love tissue cultures, but I got maybe 30, 40 plants out of it, and it's just I've got way too much of it. It's growing like crazy.
All right, something in my house is falling down.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. It's not near me. All right, so that's our topics. That's our equipment that we think are our favorite. I will say that there was a lot to choose from. I considered many different aspects of my tanks, but really the one that really changed the game for me, because man, my back, it was great to no longer have to haul those buckets. Even and like I said, I did eventually get the Python going and started using that, but leading up to it, that was a great step. So that's ours. Let's see if anyone has their favorites to add to the chat. I know there's already been some conversation, but it would just be dead air for me to start going through and looking for them. Let's see. I've got a comment from John. Tanner, go big with salt. I've done all sizes. Mine's a 55. Now I'm going 125 with a 55 sump. Sooner, bigger is better by far. And I've heard that. That's true with a lot of tanks.
Yeah, if I had the space, I definitely would. It'd be nice to have just a huge reef tank. That'd be a whole lot of
Yeah.
fun.
It would. I've always been the opposite of that. And whenever I tell someone that I have an aquarium or something like that, they're like, oh, is this saltwater? I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a freshwater tank. But my and JT's got this. So and one of these days I'll get to see it. My thing has always been, I want a giant, like local species aquarium.
Yeah.
I want to keep bluegill. I don't know whether or not I could keep a bass. I know people do in large tanks, but I'd like it to just be scaped like the lake that I grew up on, and just be able to enjoy it in my house and watch it.
That would be cool.
Yep. Dee Dee says, love both the FX6 and
Yeah.
sumps. Have one of each.
Yeah, I run a 55 with an FX6 and then the 40 with the sump. I think I like the sump better though.
Yeah.
Just because the canister, I don't like cleaning it. I'm not gonna lie.
They are a pain to clean. The thing is, they can go a little while in between cleanings. I know there's different views on that as to if a canister means you can just let it go for the year.
Hmm.
I hear both sides of that. Some people are like, yeah, I haven't cleaned that thing in 2 years and it's running great. And then other people are like, you still need to clean it every month. And I think both of those are right to a degree. It's nice to have something that can go a while in case something
Hmm.
happens. But at the same time, if you can keep it clean, keep it clean.
Yeah.
Um,
It really just
so,
depends on what, style of fish keeper you are. Like,
mhm,
and that's what I love, that there's so many different styles that, you know,
yes,
so many different things work for different people, which is nice.
there's many ways to do the same
Yes.
thing in this hobby. And depending on what part of the country you are in, it could impact things as well with your water and
Yeah.
stuff. So, Kane says, hands down, my favorite piece of equipment is my linear air piston pump. Running 75% of my tanks on one air system is awesome. And yes, that is something I'll invest in. One of these days when I have the space, whether it
Hmm.
be, an aquarium shed. I
The
know
fish
John's working on
shed.
one right now. I want to turn my shed into a he shed with some tanks and some equipment for live streaming and some video gaming and all of that good stuff. Video
That'd
gaming. I
be
don't even know where I
awesome.
came up with that, but yeah, that's what I want to do with the shed. But I got to figure out what to do with the mower when I do that. I don't know. My wife. I was telling my wife I was casting this vision, and she's like, "What are you going to do with all the lawn equipment?" I was like, "Well, we'll need another shed."
Yep. Just say, hey, let's get two more sheds, two fish
Yeah.
rooms.
But yes, the going back to that, air pumps, great.
Hmm.
I currently have 2 air pumps in here and one outside. And if I had a way to get air to all 3 of these off one, that would be amazing. And I know when you have those large fish rooms, you got it to. You just got to.
Yeah.
John says, to name one, I have to pick my linear piston pump I got from the co-op thanks to Fish Fam Christmas last year. 40 tanks on one pump. And I've seen that
Wow.
pump in a lot of videos and a lot of people use it and it's pretty awesome. That's probably the one Kane uses. I know him. He's another co-op fan. The Zen Ginger says, I really want to do a 75 saltwater. I've never done a sump though. What size would you use for that? Like a 29 tall or a 40 breeder or what?
I think sump size, I always like to go as big as I can. Um, just as it just adds more filtration. Now I can't say on salt because I don't keep salt water.
Scotty says the bigger the better. I think whatever you have room for is the answer.
Yeah, a 40 breeder would make a good sump. You could definitely get a protein skimmer in there and fit most of your equipment.
Yeah, the one thing that I hear with salt, whenever I'm in aquatic marine, they do RO water and salt water. Whenever I
Hmm.
hear people in there talking about getting water and all of that and their chemistry, I realize that that's a big part of keeping the salt the tank. And anytime you have more water, you have wider area for
Hmm.
guardrails before you run into a problem. So I would think that's the case in salt as well. Oh, we've got it. We got another. So the Zen Ginger says that tracks. I believe that tracks. John says my rule on sumps is whatever the biggest tank I can fit under it and can have access to get to. I like taller tanks to give me a buffer to keep from overflowing. That makes sense. I could turn the 20. It's either a 25 tall or a 29 tall. I've got to measure it. I used to say it was a 29, but I feel like it's a 25. I could turn that into a sump.
Yeah, that would be fun. They're fun projects to do.
JT says my favorite equipment is Higer's ceramic media bricks. I use it almost in all of my tanks. Very easy to start aquariums. I think you had that at the first swap, didn't you? Weren't you selling some of those, or I remember us talking about something like that. Maybe it was just ceramic rings. It might have been ceramic rings, but yeah, having some good filter media is always a plus. Makes our lives a lot easier.
Definitely. That's why I like to run extra. So if I have a problem in another tank, I can just grab some, and then
Yeah,
if a cycle crashes, you're like, okay, well, I've got so much filter media, I'm good.
yeah. Yeah, I keep some in a little sock for it, whatever it's called. There's an actual term for it, but for some reason it escapes me. Um, But yeah, I keep some in my tank hidden away just in case I need it. And then also in my canister filter, I don't have bio rings or anything like that in my canister filter other than they're in the base. So where the water hits the bottom, I have rings all through there so it'll disperse the water as much as possible. And so I could always pull those out and use them, but they get covered in crud real quick.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Zen Ginger. It's kind of what I figured. 40 is the same depth back, so it feels like a better option in general. Let's see. I see Razor Reef says, I want a greenhouse like Rob's. I want a greenhouse too, for sure. Sometimes I wish I was in Florida just so I could do plants in a greenhouse like that, like aquatic plants
Yeah.
year round. You would have a very short grow season here, I feel like, but you know, I know people who have greenhouses. It'd be a lot of fun to have one.
Yeah, I definitely want one eventually.
So John says an overhang or lean to is great for lawn equipment. Funny story. I have always. I have this overhang. I have a carport area in the back that is for a boat, and you know I keep telling my wife I'm either going to put a boat back there, or I'm going to rip that down so that the yard looks better. But I have said it would be easy to keep it in there for a little while. You're right. Dee Dee says, I have a co-op linear piston pump too. Love it. That is the consensus for sure. Kane says his did come from the co-op. Oh, wait.
Yeah, it seems like everyone likes the co-op ones.
Okay, so it is. It's not the same one we were talking about, but it did come from there. Zen Ginger says, I've never heard of a 25, LOL. The tall, maybe. It might be a 29 tall. I need to measure it. It's been put up for a number of years, and I honestly just don't remember. I remember buying it and thinking it was a 29 tall, and then at some point I did measure it, and I was like, I don't think that's 29 gallons. I think JT was saying yes to my question from earlier about the swap. Speaking of JT, Scruffy City Aquatics, I think we need a tour of JT's fish animal room. I think it would be a sight to see. It would be. And you know what's funny about this is the club is kind of what pushed, not the club pushed me, but having the club and the interaction is what really drove me to start doing YouTube. And so I'm like, ooh, I've got all these great people that I'll be able to go check out their fish rooms and be able to do all this stuff. And now they're all starting YouTube channels. And they're going to do it on their own channel. And I'm like, well, I can still come hang out and do stuff. We actually had something planned with JT, and JT had something cool going on, and I couldn't make it. But he was nice enough to tell me I could take a rain check, and I will probably get some footage of that. If you find him online, he's got some pictures. He just finished a Cayman enclosure, and just introduced the little guy in there, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, those pictures look incredible. I'm definitely jealous of that.
Yeah.
JT's got some awesome stuff.
He does. I can't wait to see it. Speaking of which, he says you can never have enough media. It balances your bacteria and avoids bacteria blooms and other problems. That is absolutely the case. Heidi, everyone, from Killer Kitty 08. Hello, Killer Kitty. Oh, see, there it is. Jason's coming to film. I knew somebody was going to beat me there. That's okay. The fun part about this is we all get to come out and use up JT's time to film stuff because he's a good friend, and we all get, a different perspective from it because we're all going to be coming at it from a different perspective. But you just need to have us all over at once, and it'd be chaotic. That would be fun. I mean, you hear me? I'm like inviting myself to your house. That's horrible. Chattanooga Ed is here. Hello, guys. Or hi, guys. Hello, Ed.
Hey, Ed. How you doing?
You're a little bit late. That's okay. I know you're busy right now. He has a meeting that he does before this. ETAA is full of fish tubers of all levels, from starting to well-known. I'm so lucky to be a part of it. It's true. I mean, we've got John Select Pet. I think John's coming up on a 10-year anniversary on YouTube. Is that correct? I think that's correct. And then you've got Sean Peck with Peck Tech. He's in the club. If I try to go through all these, I'll forget. There's some people who do some podcasts in the club. Maybe we'll have them on sometime to talk about that. I I'm a bad friend. I'm supposed to have listened to it by now, and I had apparently saved it and forgotten. I have it to listen to. And everyone's saying hi to Ed and Killer Kitty. We're talking about, oh, here we go. 10 years and a couple of weeks. I knew it was coming up. That's cool. You're going to do a
Yeah,
live
that's
stream for it.
awesome.
Should totally do a
10
live
years.
stream for it.
That's great.
Yeah, it is. One of my first videos, the first comment that I got from John was, you should do a live stream. So, John, you should do a live stream.
Yeah, that would be
So,
awesome.
the topic is favorite well, I don't even know what I'm gonna say now. Our favorite aquarium hobby equipment. I was trying to just like abbreviate that for some reason, and it was not going to work. So if the chat has any more, we've got a few more minutes before the end of the live stream. We can talk about those as well. We've had some great suggestions on, linear air piston pumps. We've had filtration. We've talked a lot about different forms of filtration. We've talked about 32-gallon trash cans, which was which was mine. Gosh, there were a few others. The aquarium itself, which was an awesome answer, and I should have thought of that. That should have been mine. John says, it is harder for me to do a live stream under 1,000 and do everything from my phone and calls. Yeah, that's true. No, I understand. Well, you know what? Maybe when we push to that 1,000, that's it. That should be it. Kane says, Mitch, just because people have channels doesn't mean you can't still do tours and videos. Actually, it's better because now you can merge subscribers and both can benefit from the tours. This is absolutely true. We're building out a really cool community here in Knoxville. It's been really fun to see it start. And it wasn't the intention. YouTube was never the intention with starting the club. I was just excited to have some YouTubers who were already involved in the club. I was just doing my little video journals at the Aquarium Co-op forum and using YouTube for that. And I was like, you know what? This feels creative and fun, and I'd like to try it. And everybody was just like, yeah, you should do it. And now so many people, I know Jason's working on his again, which is really cool. He's got some really great content out there. If it's fish, he's also with, I'm doing it again. I need to make like a sheet so that I make sure I cover everybody because I'm going to leave somebody out. I don't think Curtis has a YouTube channel, so I get to continue talking about Curtis. We all get to talk about Curtis's stuff.
Curtis has some really cool stuff as well. I've been amazed seeing just the variety of what everybody has, and just everybody's got some really awesome stuff, and it's cool to see the community starting to really flourish. I haven't been a part. Well, I don't know if it was before, but it's great to be a part of it.
Yeah, and that's with me too, because I was watching stuff online and in some of these live streams. I was lurking in a lot of the live streams, and it was really Aquarium Co-op Corey who kept talking about get involved in a local club. And I was like, you know what, it's time to do that. So I started looking, and I couldn't find one. I had apparently just missed the one that was in Knoxville before us by a little bit of time. Couldn't have been much, but I just missed it. And when it closed down, there was nothing going on that I know of. Everybody was going to Chattanooga and Atlanta, and a lot of people still do, and that's cool. Those are great clubs. But yeah, I was like, well, maybe I can start one. And so I started exploring that. And the more I looked into it, I was like, this is way too much work. It's going to cost too much money. I don't have any of the resources, and I don't have the knowledge. Like, I'm not the most knowledgeable fish keeper. I can tell you, I do pretty good at not killing my fish, but, and I feel like my tank's nice, but it's, I don't breed a lot of fish. I just started breeding Corys this year. And that was really because of the fish somebody else gave me started laying eggs. and I was feeding live foods coming from the club. But anyway, when the guys started talking about a club, I got real excited about that. And I was like, yes, I want a local community to be a part of. What can I do to help? And, that's where my involvement came from. I mean, these guys were already working on it before then too. So I was just happy to be a part of it. That's where I met Tanner. Most of the people, John, I met John there. JT, I didn't know JT before this. Curtis, Jason, Kane, We all met through this community that we've worked hard to build. And I tell you, the people working on it, I'm just so impressed with their dedication and what they're willing to give in order to see a club succeed. And they're just awesome. I love every one of these guys
Yeah,
and
it's been
gals, guys and
it's
gals. Cassandra,
everyone. Yes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and
But
there's
it's
others,
been
and
oh,
there's a lot of people I don't know very well yet, but Cassandra's been, she's fabulous. She's live foods like crazy. Knows so much about killifish. I'd love to do some killies. Um,
mhm. Yeah, the community's definitely been incredible, and I moved away right when the club got going, and I was like, now I just gotta come back to Knoxville all the time to the club. I've lived there, so I was a little mad about that, but it's been a great community. I've met so many knowledgeable people and just really good, genuine people that love the hobby and want to help other people succeed in the hobby. And it's
yep.
been definitely as I've learned a ton from other people that I just stuff I never thought of, stuff I've never kept or methods. It's just been a great resource, but also
Yep.
I've made some good friends doing it, which is, I mean, what more can you ask for in a hobby?
Yeah. One of our rules, and one of the things I try to remind myself all the time, is give more than you take. And that's what I want to do with the hobby. I want to give more than I can take. I've been given a lot of stuff. And so I feel like I have a lot of work to do. And that's partly what this channel is about, is trying to give. Zen Ginger says equipment I have the most of though is 5 gallon buckets. I've probably got 20 in rotation. Yeah, I got half a dozen buckets that I use in rotation. Um, we're at the end, so let's try to hit some of these real quick.
Yeah.
Uh, you want to read a couple of them so that I'm not just
Yeah.
reading all of
So
them? I feel like
Scotty
I'm
the Fish
walking over
Freak
you.
says one of the best pieces of equipment I have is a specimen container that hangs on the tank. They can hatch eggs in them, catch fish, and put food in them. And yeah, that's a great piece of equipment. You can do really versatile, and you can look at fish really close up. Let's go down here. I don't think I can click on them.
Yeah, I accidentally scrolled too far, so I'm trying to get back up there. Um,
So Chattanooga Ed says he loves his temp gun. That's something I don't have. I
yeah.
know a lot of people really enjoy using them. Um,
So I have one. We actually have one for checking our temperatures, but I use it. I used to use it when I did buckets or when I would do water, and but with the cories and trying to get them to lay eggs, I've actually been doing cold water, so I haven't had to use it in a while. But yes, it is very handy. Um, let's see. I'm happy that Knoxville got a club going. Now we need to build some more across the state. And Tanner's actually interested in doing that. Put him on the
yes.
spot. He's wanting
Um,
to do some stuff in Nashville.
yeah, if anyone in the Nashville area or around is in the chat interested in helping start a club here, send me a message. I've already met a couple people that are actually around the area, so I'm definitely trying to get it going. Just need some help, some people who want to get the club on its feet, but that's the goal.
Yep. Scotty says, I want to move to Tennessee. Absolutely. Come check
It's
out
a
Tennessee.
yeah.
I think, Scotty, are you in PA? I think you're in Pennsylvania. Let's see. Red Laser says, I'm old school. Age. Let's see. I am an old school aged water person. I hear that. I hear that. That makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. I wouldn't discourage that at all. Um, I'm trying to see. Everybody's talking, and that's awesome.
I know. It's hard to keep
Come
up
on,
with them.
Scotty. I'm in Kentucky, but I'll run you down to Tennessee. So yeah, you can carpool. Kane says the club's been a pleasure, really creating a great community just like we wanted. And that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Um, I am trying to use a different mouse than I did last week, and I keep I'll go so far and then it just jumps. Everybody's talking about the club. Thank you all for talking about the club.
Yeah.
It is awesome. Uh, I need to zoom in on a map. I could easily get a job at Newport Aquarium. Some parent company is that near the state line. I'm not sure. I'd like to know that. Delaware at the PA line. Okay. All right. Cool. I was thinking you were up there. And
It's
then
still
I
worth the
got
drive.
it is worth the drive.
A Facebook
Knoxville's
group. Oh,
Hey, listen,
yeah.
if you like the outdoors, Knoxville's a great city to visit because downtown, you can stay downtown. You can go to Imes Nature Center, walk trails, kayak.
Hmm.
You can go to the Tennessee River, which is just amazing. We're actually at the head of the beginning of the Tennessee River. And then you've got lakes, local lakes. You've got the Smoky Mountains. If you like the outdoors, we're a great city to visit, and there's so much to do. Even downtown, where like we've had the urban outdoors where you are downtown, but you are very close to outdoor activities while you're there. It's a great place to visit. It's worth a trip. You can go Dollywood if you want to. I'm not all that into Dollywood, but I'm up for a trip once a year. You go to the Smoky Mountains. There's so much to do. Anyway, we're way over. We're 5 minutes over. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for the conversation. This has been so awesome. Such a good time. Uh, and if you don't, if you haven't yet, like the video, if you're on the replay, or like the live stream, you could subscribe to the channel, and the notification bell will, of course, let you know when next piece of content is up. I said this earlier. I said it, so I have to do it. I am attempting to do 30 videos in 30 days. So it's something. They may be short. It may be 2 minutes of me just saying I don't have a video, but I'm going to do something. That's not true. I won't do that. I would be embarrassed of that. Now I got to find a way to do that in a fun way. 2 hour stream, Mitch. No, I want to limit them. I've thought about that. I've considered it. I want to limit them right now to one. And I forgot to plug up my computer again, so the battery's going dead. I'm still new to this. But yeah, thank you all, and I hope you have a great evening. I hope you had a great Independence Day. We didn't talk about that. I meant to. We'll get this under control at some point. But such a fun time, and great to see everybody out. So thank you. Enjoy
Yeah,
your
thanks for
tanks.
joining, everyone.
Yep. Stay scruffy.